So as far as national movement is concerned, these are the areas to be focused. Very basic concepts like, what does it mean by nation, what does it mean by state, and what does it mean by nationalism, freedom movement, national movement, and what was the criteria based on which entire national movement broadly divided into 3 phases. Right, 3 phases, that is a criterion meeda focus cheyali. ఏ ప్రాతిపదిక మీద, so what is the criteria based on which entire Indian national movement broadly divided into 3 parts. Moderate phase of 1885 to 1905, extremist phase of 1905 to 1920, and Gandhian phase of 1920 to 1947. Right. So what are the aims and objectives of moderate leaders 1885 to 1905? So did these aims and objectives achieved by moderate leaders? What are the fighting methodology applied by these leaders? And if they failed in achieving these methodologies, what were the defects and all, right? So once you done with moderate phase, focus must be on extremist phase. Ain't extremist phase annappudu, see, when I'm talking about a political party today, a political party has one ideology, but we found 3 different ideologies, 3 different what we call perspectives in Congress party. So thereby moderate leaders, otherwise called as early Congress leaders, followed by extremist leaders, and finally Gandhian phase or Gandhian leadership. So in 1885 to 1905, moderate leaders. What is the goal of moderate phase of 1885 to 1905? Can anyone? Dominion status. Swayam pratipatti antam Telugulo. Dominion status ka matlab ye nahi hota hai ki azadi, no independence. Then what? A state within the state is nothing but dominion status. For example, to make understand, recent past varaku Kashmir was given dominion status, Article 370. Yes, this is nothing but dominion status. Right? So now by the time you go to extremist phase, what was the goal of extremist leaders of Congress party? Swaraj, independence. Between 1905 to 1929, the Congress party started singing the song called Swaraj. Swaraj is a Sanskrit term, the English version, independence. But the same Congress party in 1929 took a resolution called Sampurna Swaraj, otherwise called as Purna Swaraj. 1929 Lahore session and all that. So mali enti difference between Swaraj and Sampurna Swaraj anedi artham chesukovali, right? So it was in extremist phase of 1905. What I'm trying to tell you, within Congress party we found 3 different ideologies. Mali different ideologies annappudu, what are the reasons for the rise of extremist leaders within Congress party? So you comment can ask XYZ reasons. Now the same Congress party between 1905 to 1920 organized 2 mass movements. What were they? Vande Matra movement of 1906, 1908 and Home Rule movement of 1916, 1918. So obviously whenever you talk about movement, you have to focus on 3 C's. What are the causes for the outbreak of the movement? How it went on course? What are the programs of the respective movements? And finally, what was the outcome, consequence? That's it. Now, you talk about Gandhian phase. In Gandhian phase, Congress party organized 3 mass movements. What were they? Non-cooperation movement of 1920-22, civil disobedience movement of 1930-34, and quit India movement of 1942. Let me tell you, out of all chapters of Indian history, national movement is an extremely easiest chapter and extremely important chapter. Right? So besides Congress party movements, Congress party fighting methodology, we also found a group of leaders who are not happy with the fighting methodology of Congress party, that is non-violence, and the youngsters believed in violence. Through violence, through armed struggle, these youngsters determined to what we call liberate Hindustan from British rule. So వీళ్ళని ఏమంటామంటే రెవల్యూషనరీస్ అంటాం, రెవల్యూషనరీ నేషనలిస్ట్స్ అంటాం. మళ్ళీ ఈ ఫేజ్ ఏమంటామంటే రెవల్యూషనరీ నేషనలిజం అంటాం. అట్లీస్ట్ ఒక half a dozen organizations you have to be good at. Bharat Mata Society, one among them was Anushilan Samiti, one among them was we have Maharashtra, that is V.D. Savarkar's. What's the name of the organization which was established by V.D. Savarkar? Abhinava Bharat. And by the time you go to North India, we have Hindustan Republican Association. By the time you go to Punjab, you come across Punjab Naujan Bharat Sabha. You have so many organizations. The organizations, all the founders, what kind of newspapers established and what kind of cases in which they got involved. So, E areas మీద మనకు prelims లో ఎక్కువగా questions పడ్డాయి. Now, with this background, start with keywords. In fact, మొత్తం చాప్టర్ మొత్తం keywords మీద మనం డిస్కస్ చేస్తాం, రైట్? దెన్ ఫాలోడ్ బై అట్లీస్ట్ ఒక dozen to 2 dozen previous year questions మనం డిస్కస్ చేస్తాం. चलो, so with this background, what does it mean by nationalism? Nationalism का मतलब क्या होता है? Nationalism means కొంచెం గట్టిగా feeling of oneness, జాతీయవాదం అంటాం. You also call it as patriotism, right? The feeling of oneness, we the people of India. So you can call this particular phenomenon as nationalism, right? Next, freedom movement. फ्रीडम मूवमेंट का मतलब क्या होता है? కొంచెం గట్టిగా ఫైట్ ఫర్ ఫ్రీడమ్, ఫెంటాస్టిక్. దెన్ నేషనల్ మూవ్మెంట్, దెన్ నేషనల్ మూవ్మెంట్, ఫైట్ ఫర్ నేషన్. ఫైట్ ఫర్ ఐడెంటిటీ, కొంచెం గట్టిగా ఫైట్ యాజ్ ఎ నేషన్, విచ్ వేర్ నేషనల్ మూవ్మెంట్. Then how about freedom movement? కొంచెం గట్టిగా ఎక్కడ? ఓకే, దెన్ ఫ్రీడమ్ మూమెంట్. విచ్ వన్? ఓకే, ఫ్రీడమ్ మూమెంట్ ఫర్ లిబరేషన్. ఓకే, okay, good. Chalo, so freedom movement is nothing but, one of our friends, he says freedom movement is nothing but movement for freedom. That's an answer. Now come to national movement. National movement, for your convenience, you can write down only one single word, that is fight against foreign rule. Fight against foreign rule. జాతీయ ఉద్యమం అంటాం తెలుగులో. అంటే ఒక విదేశీ పాలనకు వ్యతిరేకంగా ఒక జాతి నడిపే ఉద్యమాన్ని మనం జాతీయ ఉద్యమం అంటాం. ఫైట్ అగెయిన్స్ట్ ఫారెన్ రూల్ ఈజ్ నథింగ్ బట్ నేషనల్ మూవ్మెంట్. దెన్ వాట్ ఈస్ ద డిఫరెన్స్ బిట్వీన్ ఫ్రీడమ్ మూవ్మెంట్ అండ్ నేషనల్ మూవ్మెంట్ అన్నప్పుడు, ఇన్ ఫ్రీడమ్ మూవ్మెంట్ అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి, ఇన్ ఫ్రీడమ్ మూవ్మెంట్ పీపుల్ ఎక్స్ప్రెస్ ద డిసాటిస్ఫాక్షన్ అగెయిన్స్ట్ దర్ ఓన్ లీడర్, అగెయిన్స్ట్ దర్ ఓన్ సిస్టమ్, అగెయిన్స్ట్ దర్ ఓన్ గవర్నమెంట్. పీపుల్ ఆర్ నాట్ హ్యాపీ విత్ ద సిస్టమ్, పీపుల్ ఆర్ నాట్ హ్యాపీ విత్ their government. Outcome, they express dissatisfaction, obviously on the grounds of non-violence, right? Movements are associated with non-violence. We have learned the previous sessions. If they, what we call, replace the existing government with new government, we call this phenomenon as freedom movement. Then how about national movement? In national movement, people belong to one country when it comes to ruler belonged to another country. So in a nutshell, freedom movement is nothing but fight against foreign. That's it. Can we call Telangana movement as national movement or freedom movement? I repeat the question. Can we call Telangana movement as freedom movement or national movement? Why freedom movement? Within, right? Then can we call French Revolution of 1789 as a freedom movement or national movement? Freedom movement. Can we call Indian freedom movement as Indian national movement? Can we call Indonesian freedom movement as Indonesian national movement? Linguistic గురించి తెలియదు, నువ్వు ఇండోనేషియా పోతావా సార్? Yes, you can call Indian freedom movement as Indian national movement because Indian national movement, right? So మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేసినట్లయితే national movement 1885 to 1947. 1885, the year in which Congress party established. 1947, the year in which the so-called British India divided into two halves. That is independent Pakistan and independent India. That's it. National movement. అంటే మనం ఈ బేసిక్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో, టెక్నికల్ టర్మ్స్, కీవర్డ్స్ ఫస్ట్ వాటి మీద అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి. వీటి మీద ఎక్కువగా క్వశ్చన్స్ ఫ్రేమ్ చేస్తారు. Yes, you can call Indian freedom movement as Indian national movement. We found one of the famous what we call say questions in competitive exams, adi UPSC lo ganivandi, groups lo ganivandi. Just listen. All freedom movements can also be called as national movements. First statement, all freedom movements can also be called as national movements. Second statement, all national movements can also be called as freedom movements. Same traditional options. Option A, only one correct. Option B, only two. Option C, both these statements. What's the right answer? I repeat, all freedom movements can also be called as national movements. First statement. Second statement, all national movements otherwise called as freedom movements. What's the right answer? Enta performing chesina right answer is option B. Second statement alone correct. You can call a freedom movement as a national movement. I'm sorry. You can call a national movement as a freedom movement. You can't call a freedom movement as national. That's it. Chalo. So it's all about national movement, freedom movement. Now come to formation of Indian National Congress. In fact, you might have studied. It was in the year 1885, a group of Western educated Indian intellectuals determined to establish a political party or national platform called Indian National Congress. And you might also study that is safety valve theory. As far as this particular theory is concerned, safety valve theory is concerned, we found two opinions among the scholars. According to one opinion, to be specific, European opinion says there was a gentleman by name ABHIRAM. He had soft corner towards Indians, and he determined to bring all Indians who had regional associations, like he instructed the heads of regional associations or leaders who are associated with regional associations, like why don't you start a national platform which could create impact on British rule. అంటే మీరు ఏదైతే చెప్పాలనుకుంటున్నారో like it create massive impact. It was an opinion of European historians. Then how about Indian historians? To be specific, leftist historians opinion that it's a purely drama of English government, because English government was not happy with Western educated, to be specific, those Western educated who believed in violence. Western education, violence, extremely dangerous. फिर क्या करना है लोगों को? So bring all the Western educated people under one umbrella and let them express the dissatisfaction. In an organized way. What does it mean by organized way? That is, between 1885 to 1905, we call it 3 P's: prayers, petitions, protests. Between 1885 to 1905, Congress leaders never what we call say questioned the authority of British government, because they were submissive. They felt it's a kind of like the boon ఆఫ్ బ్రిటిష్ రూల్. అంటే భారతీయులకు దేవుడిచ్చిన వరం అన్నమాట. ఏంది? బ్రిటిష్ రూల్. సరే, అక్కడెక్కడ కొన్ని ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఉండొచ్చు. ఈ ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ మనం హైలైట్ చేయకూడదు. వాళ్ళ దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళి యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఇన్వాల్వ్ ఇన్ ప్రేయర్స్. హౌ యూ ఇన్వాల్వ్ ఇన్ ప్రేయర్స్ విత్ రెస్పెక్ట్ టు యువర్ గాడ్స్ అండ్ గాడెసెస్. గాడ్, లార్డ్ గివ్ అస్. సో యువర్ రూల్ ఈస్ ఫెంటాస్టిక్, యువర్ గవర్నెన్స్ ఈస్ ఫెంటాస్టిక్. లైక్ కొన్ని లూప్ హోల్స్ ఉన్నాయి, వాటిని తగ్గించడానికి పైన. Assume in a given situation, your prayers are not being listened. Next, go for petitions. Take A4 sheet paper. So and so. Finally, yours fair and lovely. Edo gottesandi. Petitions. Even today we have the habit of writing love letters and all. Respected sir, I'm suffering fever. So 3 days I won't take classes. Go Goa gone. Right? And finally, that is protest. Protest का मतलब क्या होता है? Constitutional methods. Protest అంటే నేను టేబుల్ గిరగొడతా, ఆటోలో వేతలం కొడతా, బస్ అద్దాల బల కొడతా, ఇలాంటి చిలిపి పనులు చేయదు. Then what? Like constitutional methods. Yes, you can go for what we call so-called procession. రోడ్డుకు కుడి వైపున వెళ్ళాలి, ఎవరిని డిస్టర్బ్ చేయదు. This is how the Western educated anger ఏదైతే ఉందో ఒక ఆర్గనైజ్డ్ వేలో వీళ్ళు పెట్టడం జరిగింది అనేది వీళ్ళ ఒపీనియన్. Indian historians, to be specific, FTT historian. Whatever the circumstances, safety valve theory associated with formation of Indian National Congress. Now, మనం ఇందాక రెఫర్ చేసాం, what is the criteria based on which entire national movement broadly divided into 3 parts అన్నప్పుడు, can anyone? What is the criteria based on which entire national movement broadly divided into 3 parts? थोड़ा आवाज दो. Okay. Chalo. So based on means and methods, the fighting methodology you call it. Based on fighting methodology of Congress party, the entire national movement broadly divided into 3 parts, that is moderate phase of 1885 to 1905, extremist phase of 1905 to 1920, and Gandhian phase of 1920 to 1947. మనం ఇందాక రెఫర్ చేసాం means and methods of moderates, that is 3 P's. In some text also come across 4 P's. ఏంటి 3 P's లేదా 4 P's అన్నప్పుడు, ఫస్ట్ P వచ్చేసి prayers, followed by petitions, followed by protests and newspapers. Almost all Congress leaders have their own newspapers. How modern politicians have their own newspapers. सही बात है. Whatever, like the political gimmicks we were seeing today, all these gimmicks have learned the respective political parties from a university which was established in 1885. Biggest university in India. Mother of all political parties. Right? Congress party. Chalo, whatever. Now come to, what are the means and methods of extremist leaders? That is like Lal, Bal, Pal and Aurobindo Ghosh, popularly called as political trinity. Good. That is Swadeshi, otherwise called as economic nationalism. One of the previous questions. Swadeshi can also be called as economic nationalism. Nationalism का मतलब क्या होता है? Feeling of oneness. Then economic nationalism, you have to use indigenous goods. You have to boycott foreign goods. If foreign ane label edetundo, tag edetundo, you have to boycott of foreign commodities, educational institutions, titles, whatnot. It went on. In place of foreign, make use of Swadeshi. దీన్ని చాలా పాష్గా ఏమంటారంటే ఎకానమిక్ నేషనలిజం అంటారు. And besides Swadeshi, we also found another method which was popularized by Congress leaders between 1905 to 1920, that is passive resistance. Passive resistance is nothing but the ability to question. You have to question the unjust laws of British government. How we found 3 P's, 1885 to 1905 Congress means and methods. We found 2 major programs or major methods, Swadeshi and passive resistance. Then how about Gandhian phase annappudu? What are the 2 methods of Gandhiji? Or 2 weapons of Gandhiji? Ahimsa and that's it, Satyagraha. So based on means and methods or fighting methodology, entire national movement 1885 to 1947 broadly divided into 3 phases. That is moderate phase of 1885 to 1905, extremist phase of 1905 to 1920, and Gandhian phase of 1920 to 1947. That is Swadeshi followed by Swaraj and boycott. Now మనం ఇందాక ఈ కొన్ని ఇంపార్టెంట్ సెషన్స్ మీరు హైలైట్ చేసుకోండి. ఇంపార్టెంట్ సెషన్స్ మీరు అట్లీస్ట్ డజన్ సెషన్స్ ఉంటాయి. Congress party established in the year 1885, right from its inception, even today in 2025 December, in the month of December 2025, Congress party met at Delhi. Congress party have the habit of meeting once in a year at one place. 1885 December, Congress party met at Bombay. 1886 same Congress party met at Calcutta, followed by Madras. It went on. Right? So in the year 1885, Congress party met at Bombay and adopted a resolution called Dominion Status, Swayam Pratipatti. The same Congress party met at Calcutta in the month of December 1906 under the guidance of Dada Bhai Nauroji. The same Congress party adopted a resolution called Swaraj. Same Congress party met at Lahore in the month of December 1929. Congress party adopted resolution called Sampurna Swaraj, otherwise called as Purna Swaraj. అంటే ఇలాంటి సెషన్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో వాటి మీద ఎక్కువగా ఫోకస్ చేయాలి. And in which one of the following sessions where Congress party demarcated into our experienced split, that is Surat session antam. In which session the same Congress party got reunited, it was in Lucknow session of 1916 antam. వందే మాత్రం ఉద్యమాన్ని కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ ఎక్కడ ఆర్గనైజ్ చేయాలని తీర్మానించింది? నాన్ కోఆపరేషన్ రెజల్యూషన్ ఎక్కడ తీసుకున్నారు? సివిల్ డిజోబీడియన్స్ మూవ్మెంట్ రెజల్యూషన్ ఎక్కడ తీసుకున్నారు? క్విటినియా మూవ్మెంట్ రెజల్యూషన్ ఎక్కడ తీసుకున్నారు? హోమ్ రూల్ మూవ్మెంట్ రెజల్యూషన్ ఎక్కడ తీసుకున్నారు? ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఫ్యాక్చువల్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ 1-2 సార్లు చదవాలి, చాలా ఈజీగా గుర్తుంటుంది. బికాస్ వి ఫౌండ్ క్వశ్చన్స్ మ్యాచ్ ద ఫాలోయింగ్, రైట్? चलो, so 1885 Bombay Dominion Status, 1906 Calcutta Swaraj, 1929 Lahore Sampurna Swaraj or Purna Swaraj. Now come to extremist phase of 1905 to 1920. Congress party organized 2 mass movements. One among them was Vande Mataram movement of 1906-1908 and Home Rule movement of 1916-1918. Vande Mataram movement of 1906-1908 can also be called as anti-Bengal partition movement, can also be called as Swadeshi movement. The first mass movement organized by Congress party under the guidance of extremist leaders, to be specific, Lal Bal Pal, Arabindo Ghosh, Ajit Singh, చాలా మంది ఉన్నారు, but we highlight this three: Lal Bal Pal, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, or Bipin Chandra Pal, not K.A. Paul. పెద్ద ఆయన ఉన్నాడు అన్నమాట. Anyone from Andhra Pradesh? The people of Andhra Pradesh are lucky to have like leaders, right? K. Paul. You people are unlucky. You don't have such a benevolent leader like K. Paul, right? Very good leader. Chalo. Unnada sir unnada? Unnada. Chalo. So Vande Mataram movement of 1906-1908 annappudu, what was the major reason annappudu? We have so many reasons. The major reason, the immediate reason happened to be partition of Bengal. So the so-called Bengal divided into 2 halves, that is West Bengal and East Bengal. What do we call today? Bangladesh. So a pratipadika meeda, ante a projection meeda, Lord Curzon, the then Viceroy of British India, demarcated the vast Bengal into 2 halves. On what grounds? Administrative convenience. Ante projected ground antam. E nepam dwara. For example, last classes referred chesindachu. Lord Dalhousie annexed the respective Indian kingdoms into English Empire on the grounds of absence of natural successors. That's it. For example, Awadh was annexed to English Empire on the grounds of misgovernance. Paripalana sakka cheyatledu. Nawab దగ్గరికి వెళ్ళాడు. Hey Mr. Nawab, say the spelling of administration. ADM. మీరు రాదు తీసుకోండి అని చెప్పాడు. సార్ ఇంకా నీకు రాదు, నువ్వు లెటోపీస్ మాకు నీకు రాదని మొత్తం తీసుకోండి. On the ground of that is like mal administration or misgovernance అంటాం. మళ్ళీ ఇక్కడ on the grounds of administrative convenience. So Lord Curzon has come up with a scheme called Bengal is too big to be administered. फिर क्या करेंगे? Let us divide Bengal into 2 halves. So East Bengal, West Bengal. It was a projected region. The actual reason happened to be there are 2 what we call evil intentions behind Lord Curzon's partition of Bengal. One is to suppress the growing influence of nationalism, especially in Bengal. Bengal is one of the most enlightened provinces right from the days of Mughals. Mughal Empire declined because of Bengal. Bengal had its own share in Indian history. You might be knowing. It was in 1717, Murshid Quli Khan came out from Mughal Empire. Murshid Quli Khan happened to be the governor of Bengal. Because Bengal happened to be the largest province and richest province, Subha of Mughal Empire. The same English East India Company started its journey from Bengal. All your peasant movements, whatever movements you talk about, started from Bengal. Your socio-religious reformation movements started from Bengal. National movement from Bengal. Now, one woman, waka आड़दी from Bengal. उसको सब लोग दीदी बोलते हैं. नाम क्या है? हाँ, ममता दीदी. अरे वेरे राष्ट्राల్లో అమలకలను పట్టించుకోరన్నమాట. एक फ्री बस दिए तो लोग हैप्पी रहते. चलो, so ikkada East Bengal, West Bengal. Now another reason to suppress the so-called unity between Hindus and Muslims. If administrative convenience is the only criteria of Lord Curzon, he would have started his journey from Madras Presidency. Compared with Bengal Presidency, Madras Presidency both chauda hai, both like extremely bigger provinces. There are 14 provinces in British India. The largest province happened to be Madras, not Bengal. If administrative convenience was a criteria, he would have divided Bengal into North Bengal and South Bengal. Why only East, West? Because Hindus, West Bengal, Muslims, East Bengal. Now, having understood the evil intentions of what we call Lord Curzon, Congress Party organized movement, that is anti-Bengal partition movement, can also be called as Vande Mataram. ఈ వందే మాత్రం మీద ఎక్కువగా ఫోకస్ చేయండి బికాస్ రీసెంట్లీ 150 years completed. Definitely we can expect a question from వందే మాత్రం, రైట్? వందే మాత్రం సాంగ్ ఎక్కడి నుంచి తీసుకున్నాం? ఆనంద్ మఠ్, ద బెంగాలీ నావెల్ రిటర్న్ బై బంకిం చంద్ర చటర్జీ. ఎక్కడ ఫస్ట్ టైం దీన్ని వాట్ వి కాల్ సే పాడారు, ఏ సెషన్లో ఫస్ట్ టైం పాడారు? ఇవన్నీ వన్ ఆర్ టూ very good, one or two factual information focused in, right? Now, what is the outcome of Vande Mataram movement of 1906, 1908? And very simple, by 1908 movement got suppressed. That's it. By 1908 movement got suppressed. Did Vande Mataram movement achieve its goal? The answer is no. That is like on 1911. You can't say this is success. Success का मतलब क्या होता है? अब जो करे, if the government accepted your demand, yes, the movement can be called, it got success. First brutally crushed, one fine morning, Varshan Gurchan Ratri, okay, annulment of partition of Bengal. That too with so many, what we call diplomatic stuff. It was in the year 1911, though movement got suppressed, you understand in this way, it was in the year 1911, the then ruler of England, a సార్ పేరు ఏం పేరు ఉంటుంది? King George V. He came to British India. On his arrival, the people of British India were given two boons, two privileges. What were they? Yes, the so-called partition of Bengal got abandoned. Annulment of Bengal. Okay, you people have demanded partition of Bengal. Fine. We did it, right? As you know, we are benevolent, right? No, that can be right. Let us confine to the topic, right? Annulment of partition of Bengal annappudu. So, enduku, reason being the arrival of the gentleman to British India. Who? King George V. We found a tradition throughout British Empire. Forget about British India. British India Shatkolingalo Bowling. England had colonies across the globe. India was one of the colonies. We found a tradition whenever either King of England or Queen of England goes to colonies, the people of colonies used to get boons, privileges, to establish the fact that how benevolent British kings and queens. And unfortunately, even today, the colonial mindset is being continued. On the birth anniversary of Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, Telangana was declared. కొంచెం అబ్జర్వ్ చేయాలి. తెలంగాణ ఇస్ అ గిఫ్ట్ ఆఫ్ సోనియా గాంధీ. కొంతమంది అభిమానులు ఉంటారు కదా, ఈవెన్ దే బిల్ట్ ఎ టెంపుల్ ఫర్. ఏడ ఉంది సార్? హైదరాబాద్. ప్రసాదం పెడతారా సార్? ఎప్పుడెప్పుడు పోతారా, ఎప్పుడెప్పుడు టెంపుల్ కడదామా? పూర్ గాంధీజీ ఆయన కూడా వదిలిపెట్టలేదు. whenever you travel, right, from Hyderabad to Vijayawada, on the right side there is a small town called Chotupal. Chotupal తర్వాత మీకు ఒక పెద్ద టెంపుల్ వస్తారు, గాంధీజీ దేవాలయం. ఊడి అమ్మంటే ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చాడు రీడు? ఈరోజు ఏదైనా బాగుంది నేను వేసుకుంటా పోయాను. అక్కడ ఒక పూజారి ప్రసాదం పెట్టాను. ఆబ్వియస్లీ నాట్ హింస ప్రసాదం, అహింస ప్రసాదం. హింస ప్రసాదం అంటే 2-3 ఆటలు కోసి మనం కట్టు. ఫైన్. సో one is like, annulment of Bengal partition. The second one is the capital got shifted from Calcutta to Delhi, and since then Delhi became capital of British India. Right, it's all about Vande Mataram movement. Now come to Home Rule movement of 1916-1918. So while you're reading Home Rule movement, be good at First World War stakeholders. First World War fought between 1914-1918 between Triple Alliance and Triple Entity. Triple Alliance, we have Germany, followed by Austria, followed by Italy, and even the Turkey and other countries. When it comes to Triple Entity, we have England, followed by France, followed by Russia, Japan. Army good ochindanu. Army or sir, United States of America. Right? Now come to having understood the significance of First World War. What is the response of the colonies of England? What are the colonies of England? Ireland organized movements. Because England was badly in need of help when we organized movement. So there would be a kind of pressure on England. Definitely England would grant independence. Not independence, that is dominion status or self-rule. Both are same. Dominion status or self-rule. Self-rule, when I say self-rule, not Swarajya. Don't take it for granted for Swarajya. No, not Swarajya. Right? Self-rule. Outcome, many colonies organized movements against England. One among them was Ireland. What is the response of England? So since there was a pressure on England, the same England accepted the demand of Ireland. Outcome, Ireland was given dominion status. When Ireland was given dominion status, the entire information got known by Mrs. Annie Besant, the woman who popularized Theosophical Society on Indian soil. She got fed up with Theosophical Society, the members of Theosophical Society. She returned to her mother country. అట్ట వెళ్ళిపోయింది. Reason being, ఈ మెంబర్స్ ఉంటారు కదా, చారం చేయమంటే బారం చేస్తారు. They got involved in witchcraft, black magic, విరూపాక్ష, కాంచనా 1, కాంచనా 2, మొత్తం 2 నిమ్మకాయలు తీసుకొని 2 కోడిగుడ్లు తీసుకొని ఎక్కడి చేసుకుంటే కూర్చున్నారు వీళ్ళంతా. ఎవర్రా మీరంతా ఎక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చారని చెప్పి, మేడం ఏ థియోసాఫికల్ సొసైటీ దాంట్లో బిజినెస్ ఏం లొటపీస్ లేదు, నువ్వు కూడా చేద్దు అని చెప్పి నేను వెళ్ళిపోయాను. She returned to her mother country. But Hinduism ఏదైతే ఉందో, Hinduism did not make her to sit on foreign land or Ireland. She simply returned to British India and she joined in Congress Party in the year 1916. The very next year she became the president of Congress Party, the first woman president. And it was she who was responsible for Home Rule movement. It was she who convinced Congress Party, to be specific, Bala Gangadhar Tilak, right, and other leaders, and organized movement. Between 1916 to 1918, the second mass movement, second popular movement organized by Congress Party. Outcome, once again got suppressed. How? Vande Mataram movement got suppressed, the same Home Rule movement also got suppressed. ఏ విధంగా సప్రెస్? ఇక్కడ సప్రెస్ చేయడం అంటే ఒక ఉద్యమాన్ని a movement can be suppressed by using so many strategies. The first and foremost strategy, you just select the important leaders, arrest them. Movement కాదు కదా వాళ్ళ అమ్మమ్మ పోతుంది. Even today we follow this. Respective governments everything they follow it. Second one, diplomatically you can suppress the movement. Best example, home rule movement. You might be knowing, in the month of August 1917, Montague, the Secretary of the State for British India, this gentleman had come up with a declaration. దాన్ని ఏమంటామంటే Montague's Declaration లేదా August Declaration అంటాం. When we understand the summary of August Declaration or Montague Declaration, you'll be going to get dominion status or self-rule or home rule, whatever you call it, not now, then after completion of First World War. See, we are going to get victory or we are going to get defeated, that is none of your business. After completion of war, you will be going to get dominion status. And for that, you have to assist us. What is the response of Mrs. Annie Besant? Mrs. Annie Besant accepted the declaration, welcomed the declaration, and she called off the movement. It was not digested by Bala Gangadhar Tilak. You know, dayam battinda ani chepparu. అది కాదు తిలకు మా కాడగొట్టి చెప్పిచ్చారు అని చెప్పి నువ్వు నీ లోట పీజ్ అదే నీది వేరు ఇక్కడ వేరు కాదు. నో 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 ఐ వాట్ ఇస్ ద రెస్పాన్స్ ఆఫ్ తిలక్? తిలక్ కంటిన్యూడ్ హోమ్ రూల్ మూమెంట్. మనం ఇందాక రెఫర్ చేసాం. ఎస్, అ మూమెంట్ కెన్ బి సప్రెస్డ్ బై అరెస్టింగ్ లీడర్. వన్స్ అగైన్ హీ వాజ్ అరెస్టెడ్. హీ వాజ్ గివెన్ 2 options. కామ్ పే జాతే మాండలేకి భేజో అని చెప్పాడు. బికాస్ ఐఎమ్ అక్వైటెడ్ విత్ మాండలే వాటర్ అండ్ ఆల్, మాండలేకి భేజో అని చెప్పాడు. Yes, the gentleman was in Mandalay for about 8 years. 1908 to 1916. అక్కడ ఎన్వైరన్మెంట్ మొత్తం మీరకు అట్లా చెప్పమాకు సార్ అంటే ఏదో అభిమానం, రైట్? అసలే బాలగంగాధర్ తిలక్, రైట్? చలో, సో అవుట్కమ్ హోమ్ రూల్ మూమెంట్, ద సెకండ్ మాస్ మూమెంట్, ద సెకండ్ పాపులర్ మూమెంట్ ఆల్సో గాట్ suppressed. Now the next question, what was the outcome of that is Congress, First World War అన్నప్పుడు First World War, Triple Alliance got defeated, Triple Entity got victory, and one of the countries of Triple Entity happened to be England. So did India get dominion status? Dominion status కాదు కదా, అలా మమ్మ కూడా రాలేదు. బాలగంగాధర్ తిలక్ మిస్సెస్ యానీ బెసెంట్ ఫోన్ చేసి మరీ తిట్టాడనమాట. సరిపోయిందా అని చెప్పాడు. చిలక చెప్పిన వద్దని చెప్పాడు. అది కాదు తిలక్ ఇస్తాడు, ఇదే నీతో ప్రాబ్లం, మాకు ఇచ్చారుగా, మీరు వేరు మేము వేరు. సరే ఏం చెప్తాం, నెక్స్ట్ లేదు గిస్ట్ లేదు నేను పోతున్నాను చెప్పి ఆయన వెళ్ళిపోయాడు. కాంపి వెళ్ళిపోయినాడు సార్ నారాయణ. సో హీ పాస్డ్ అవే ఇన్ 1928. Right, it's all about the 2 mass movements organized by Congress leaders, to be specific, extremist leaders between 1905 to 1920, Vande Mataram movement and Home Rule movement. So before Home Rule movement, we found one new element, that is formation of Muslim League Party. There are so many reasons for the what we call for the decline of Vande Mataram movement. One of the major reasons, the conservative Muslims in Bengal organized pro-Bengal partition movement. Congress party was organizing anti-Bengal partition movement, whereas conservative Muslims in East Bengal were organizing counter movement. When I say counter movement to Congress movement, that is pro-Bengal partition movement. Whereas Congress party anti-Bengal partition movement. Why did conservative Muslims of East Bengal organize pro-Bengal partition movement? Annappudu the credit goes to one gentleman. He was serving as viceroy. Sar per em untadi Lord Minto II. Lord Minto II understood there was a gap between Congress party and Muslims. ఈ గ్యాప్ని ఈయన మెల్లగా ఫుల్ఫిల్ చేశాడు. ఏం చేశాడు అన్నప్పుడు వెరీ సింపుల్. He simply invited conservative aristocratic Muslims to Shimla. We call it Shimla Conference. he started convincing conservative and aristocratic Muslims. So do you know why did we demarcate Bengal into two halves? ఇలా మొక్కలు ఒకరొకరు చూసుకున్నారు, లాట్ ఆఫ్ పీస్ మొక్కలు అద్దెలితే ఎక్కడికి ఎందుకు వస్తామని చెప్పారు, ఫర్ యూ పీపుల్ అని చెప్పారు. ఒక ఆయన లేచాడు అన్నమాట, మా కోసం మీకోసం అని చెప్పారు. కానీ మీరు మీ లోటపీస్ మొక్కలు మీకు అర్థం చేసుకోవడం రావట్లేదు అంటే కొంచెం ఎలాబొరేట్ చేశారని చెప్పారు. సి when you're talking about majority people, the voice of the minorities would be suppressed. అది కూడా తెలుదా అని చెప్పారు. అవును సార్ మనం సపరేట్ చేశారని చెప్పాడు. ఈ పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ కావాలని చెప్పాడు. फिर क्या करना है, you have to be away from majority people. వాడు మెజారిటీ ఏదో హిందూస్ బా అని చెప్పాడు. For that we have demarcated Bengal into two halves. अब क्या करो बोलते हैं सर हम लोगों को. These people are organizing anti-Bengal partition movement. Yes sir. No, you organize pro-Bengal partition movement. Sir, no, మా పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ చూసారని చెప్పారు. The largest what we call say minorities in India, that is Muslims, they were busy in organizing pro-Bengal partition. దీన్ని మనం చాలా పాస్గా ఏమంటామంటే డివైడ్ అండ్ రూల్, విభజించు పాలించు. షేమ్లెస్లీ ఈవెన్ టుడే పొలిటీషియన్స్ ఆర్ బీయింగ్ समझदार की इशारा का, right? You have to divide the people. So when people are united, you can't get command over them. फिर क्या करना है? You just divide them. On what basis? Maybe religion workout కావట్లేదు, region workout కావట్లేదు, caste workout కావట్లేదు, gender ఏదో ఒకటి వర్కౌట్ అవుతుంది. ఒక వర్గానికి ఫ్రీ బస్ ఇస్తే ఇంకొక వర్గం समझदार की इशारा काफी है. चलो, so anti-Bengal partition movement and pro-Bengal partition movement, the same Lord Minto, the then Viceroy of British India, instructed the conservative Muslim leaders to constitute a political party. Cut cheste Muslim League Party of 1906. How Congress Party established in 1885, the same Congress Party demanded complete independence only in 1929. Muslim League Party established in 1906-1907, the same Muslim League Party demanded separate state for Muslims only in 1940. You might be knowing that is two nations theory, rendu deshala siddhantamu. How Congress Party started meeting once in a year, some XYZ places. The same tradition also followed by Muslim League Party. In the month of July 1940, Muslim League Party met at Lahore. In this session, Muslim League Party adopted a resolution called Two Nations Theory. How Congress Party adopted a resolution called Purna Swaraj in the month of December 1929. Right? It's all about Muslim League Party. Now, Lucknow session. Dankante mundu manaku in the month of December 1907, Congress Party met at Surat under the guidance of Bihari Ghosh. What is the significance of Surat session of 1907 December? Surat split. Very good. Surat split. Congress Party divided. Congress Party experienced split. That is, extremist leaders everything unnaro. So extremist leaders were expelled by moderate leaders. From 1907 to 1916, Congress Party literally got dead, whereby not even a single movement we found between 1907 to 1916. And it was in 1916, in Lucknow session, we found merger of extremists with moderates. So dani emantamante Lucknow session, merger of extremists with moderates. And we also found pact between Indian National Congress and Muslim League Party. The Muslim League Party understood the actual color of British government, and Muslim League Party started working with Congress Party. Only one occasion, that is Home Rule movement of 1916-1918. Now after separation of Home Rule movement, the same we found gap between Congress Party and Muslim League Party. మనం ఇందాక రెఫర్ చేశాం August Declaration of 1917, through which British government successfully suppressed Home Rule movement of 1916-1918. Now come to the third and the last movement, or the last phase of Congress Party, that is Gandhian phase or Gandhianism. The duration of Gandhianism 1920 to 1947, right? So wherein Congress Party organized three mass movements, that is non-cooperation movement of 1920-22, non-cooperation movement of 1920-22, civil disobedience movement of 1930-34, and Quitino movement of 1942. There are so many, as I was telling, three C's to be focused when you're talking about movements. The first C happened to be causes for the outbreak of the movement, course of the movement, and finally consequences. Causes for the outbreak, reasons, how it went on, what are the programs, and what was the outcome. Malenti causes of the non-cooperation movement annappudu, one of the causes of non-cooperation movement, that is Rowlatt Act. Can anyone, what is the technical term of Rowlatt Act? A technical name of Rowlatt Act? Very good. Anarchical Revolutionary Crimes Abolition Act. It was in the year 1918, British government constituted a committee headed by Sidney Rowlatt. Sidney Rowlatt was given a task. You go to British India and meet various stakeholders. Why a group of youngsters who are getting tilted towards violence? Number one. Number two, how these people are getting arms and ammunitions, weapons. You work on this, right? So the gentleman came to British India, worked, met stakeholders, organizations, other stuff, and submitted a report to British government. So based on the report of Sidney Rowlatt, British government enacted an act called Anarchical Revolutionary Crimes Abolition Act, popularly called as. The summary of Rowlatt Act, when we understand, British police was given abnormal powers. That's it. Abnormal powers. A person can be arrested without a warrant. Detained person can be kept days together inside. No habeas corpus, no lot of habeas corpus. Right? No public gathering, no question mark. You're supposed not to say start newspaper in regional languages. ఒకవేళ తిట్టాలనుకుంటే ఇంగ్లీష్లో తిట్టండి అని చెప్పారు. ఎందుకంటే అర్థం అవుతుందిగా పల్లపల్ల తిట్టారు. So we found very inhuman provisions which are associated with Rowlatt Act. The entire information got to know by Congress Party. Congress Party opposed Rowlatt Act. And one of the famous areas for prelims exam, Gandhiji's first political protest, that is Rowlatt protests under. Gandhiji's first political protests in India, Rowlatt protests. Gandhiji's first peasant movement, can anyone? Which you have learned as part of peasant movements. Champaran 1916-1917. భారతదేశంలో గాంధీజీ నిర్వహించినటువంటి మొట్టమొదటి ఉద్యమం చంపారన్ peasant movement. Champaran peasant movement, when it comes to Rowlatt Satyagraha, political protest. The first political movement annappudu non-cooperation. You have to be good at these differentiations. First movement, to be specific, peasant movement annappudu Champaran. First political movement annappudu non-cooperation. First political protest annappudu Rowlatt protest or Rowlatt Satyagraha antam. So against Rowlatt Satyagraha, British government made all efforts to suppress these protests. And one of the protests lo bhanga, the same British police arrested two Congress leaders from Punjab, Dr. Satyapal and Saifuddin Kichlu. Against the arrest of these two leaders, the people of Punjab, they met at a place called Jallianwala Bagh, and everyone knows Jallianwala Bagh massacre, this particular event which took place on 13th April 1919. So Jallianwala Bagh, another major reason for non-cooperation movement. And besides, even we have Khilafat movement. మనం ఇందాక రెఫర్ చేశాం. First World War fought between Triple Alliance and Triple Entity. One of the defeated countries of Triple Entity, Turkey. The ruler of Turkey by name Muhammad the Fifth, the ruler of Turkey, the Sultan of Turkey, Muhammad the Fifth, he had the title called Khalifa. One of the victorious countries of triple entity, England ordered Muhammad the Fifth, అరే నీ లొటపీస్ మొఖానికి టైటిల్ అవసరం అంటే ఇష్టం సార్, పెట్టుకోమంటే పెట్టుకుంటే, లేకుంటే ఇప్పుడే తీసేస్తా చెప్పాడు. తీసేయని చెప్పి Muhammad the Fifth relinquished the title called Khalifa. It was not digested by the people of Turkey, especially Muslims. Forget about Turkish Muslims. Across the globe, Muslims were not happy with the domination of England over Turkey. Outcome, the people organized a movement called Khilafat. Restoration of a title called Khalifa to Muhammad the Fifth. So how Khilafat movement was associated with Indian national movement or Indian politics annappudu, when Gandhiji became the head of Congress party, Gandhiji understood there was a gap between Congress party and Muslims. The same Gandhiji understood the gap between Congress party and Dalits. The same Gandhiji understood gap between Congress party and Amalakkalu. By using so many strategies, he brought the respective communities to the fold of national movement or to the fold of Congress party. And he found Khilafat movement was a good opportunity to bring the so-called largest Muslims on Indian soil, that is largest minorities on Indian soil, Muslims, to bring the fold of national movement. He simply extended his support to Khilafat movement. And since then, Muslims started Muslims started what we call becoming part and parcel of non-cooperation movement, and whatever the movements protest organized by Congress party. A leader is the one who shall what we call follow inclusive, not exclusive. Right? We have to learn lessons. Right? మనకు ఒక వర్గం నుంచి ఓట్లు వస్తే చాలు, లోటపీస్ వర్గము సమజ్దార్ కిషన్ కాఫీ. We never found such kind of divisive politics. So, ikkada Rowlatt Act followed by Jallianwala Bagh massacre followed by Khilafat movement, and even Congress party was not happy with 1919 reforms. 1919 reforms can also be called as Montague-Chelmsford reforms. As part of Home Rule movement, Congress party was promised by the British government, that is we are going to get, you'll be going to get reforms. A reforms lo bhanga you'll be going to get dominion status. Except dominion status, Congress party found many provisions in Jallianwala Bagh massacre. This is another reason why Congress party, under the guidance of Gandhiji, organized the first mass movement, that is non-cooperation movement of 1920-22. So between 1920 1922 movement was so popular, we found the same programs of, that is anti-Bengal partition movement, Swadeshi ganivandi, boycott ganivandi, right? So inka vere programs anni kuda ina తీసుకురావడం జరిగింది. The respective programs tho ee movement was reaching to the heights. Now it was on 5th February, even date is also important, 5th February 1922, at a place called Chauri Chaura, we found a sporadic violent event. For about 22 police personnel were captured by villagers. All these 22 British police personnel were kept in police station, and the respective police personnel were burned to death. Violence. The entire information got to know by AICC, headed by Congress party. And AICC లేదా CWC, you also call it CWC, Congress Working Committee, met at Bardoli on 9th February 1922. And by 12th February 1922, the so-called non-cooperation movement got suspended. The first mass movement organized by Congress party under the guidance of Gandhiji, called off by whom? By Gandhi. Right? It's all about non-cooperation movement, Chauri Chaura. So what was the fate of national movement? What was the fate of national movement between 1920 to 1930? Reason being, it was in 1930 second mass movement organized by Congress party under the guidance of Gandhiji. Between 1920 to 1930 అన్నప్పుడు we found at least ఒక half a dozen important events. వాటిని ఏమంటామంటే national events అంటాం. One among them was Swaraj party, formation of Swaraj party, followed by Simon Commission, Formation of Swaraj Party 1920, 1921, 22, right? Followed by Simon Commission 1927, 28, Nehru Report 1928, Jinnah's 14 Principles 1928, Diwali Declaration 1929, Lahore Session 1929, and Purna Swaraj, same 1929. We found a questions, arrange them into chronological order, be good at years and months. National events between 1920 to 1930. Because the moment we talk about Gandhian phase, we generally focus on three mass movements: non-cooperation, civil disobedience, quit India. Mani non-cooperation tarvata almost like we found a decade gap. Mani gap lo em jarigindane dani meeda mana questions paddayi. So national events between 1920 to 1930, Swaraj Party, Simon Commission, Nehru Report, Jinnah's 14 points, Diwali Declaration, Lahore Session, and Purna Swaraj. Now come to Swaraj Party. ఈ చౌరీ చౌరా ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఏదైతే ఉందో, చౌరీ చౌరా ఈవెంట్ ఏదైతే ఉందో, because of చౌరీ చౌరా episode, the so-called non-cooperation movement got suspended by Gandhiji. Or the suspension of non-cooperation movement, we found mixed opinions among the Congress leaders. Many Congress leaders supported and few Congress leaders outrightly rejected the decision of Gandhi. One among them was the founder president of Swaraj Party, C.R. Das, Chittaranjan Das, Motilal Nehru, the papa of Jawaharlal Nehru, Azmal Khan, chala mandi XYZ leaders unnaru. So all these leaders were not happy with the decision of Gandhiji, so they established a political party called Swaraj Party. కొన్ని ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ వీళ్ళు అపోజ్ చేశారు, రిమైనింగ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ యాజ్ యూజువల్. మళ్ళీ ఏంటి ఆ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్ అన్నప్పుడు, కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ suspended non-cooperation movement. Swaraj Party continued non-cooperation movement. Congress Party suspended or boycott of legislative councils. When it comes to Swaraj Party, entry of legislative councils. The leaders who are associated with Swaraj Party, they opined that how long you stay outside and say down, down? Why don't you go inside the Central Legislative Assembly, otherwise called as Parliament? Why don't you go inside the Parliament? You can question unjust laws of the government. Our last చేసిన తర్వాత నువ్వు బయటకు వచ్చి down, down, no, it doesn't make any sense. Why didn't you go inside? It was an opinion of Swaraj Party. Congress Party says no, boycott. Boycott means boycott, that's it. Boycott of goods, all these boycott, including legislative assemblies. So వీళ్ళు మాత్రం no, we have to go inside. అంటే కొన్ని డిఫరెన్సెస్ మిగతాది కట్ కాపీ అండ్ పేస్ట్. And it was the same Swaraj Party in 1924. We found general elections. ఈ జనరల్ ఎలక్షన్స్లో స్వరాజ్ పార్టీ కంటెస్ట్ చేయడం జరిగింది. out of one or two constituencies, Swaraj Party got victory in 42 constituencies. The same Swaraj Party went to Central Legislative Assembly, otherwise called as Parliament. Was the first speaker of British India, or first Indian speaker of British India from Swaraj Party, Vithalbhai Patel, bro of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. First speaker, Indian speaker లేదా Lok Sabha speaker లేదా chairman అంటాం. But after the death of C.R. Das, Chittaranjan Das, popularly called as Dinabandhu, so we found gradually Swaraj Party became part and parcel of Congress. Right? It's all about. Now come to Simon Commission, 1927-1928. It was in 1927, British Parliament, or British government constituted two famous commissions. Right? What were they? In 1927, British Parliament constituted two famous commissions. One is to Butler Commission, right? Second one is Simon Commission. Butler Commission was given the task of to study center and state relations. Kendra Rashtra Sambandhalu. Right? When it comes to Simon Commission, to review the 1919 reforms. That's it. Butler Commission to study center-state relations. When it comes to Simon Commission, to review and to suggest further improvement of reforms. Now we are not concerned about Butler Commission, come to Simon Commission. So the commission has got 6 members plus 1 chairman or 1 president. The president happened to be Sir John Simon. So Simon Commission was constituted in 1927. The same Simon Commission came to India in 1928. So 1927, 1928. Simon Commission was constituted in 1927, somewhere in the month of November. Now, entire information got to know by Congress Party. So the British government constituted Simon Commission, but not even a single Indian member. Kya karenge? Mana kalvate kada. Down, down, boycott. So Congress Party met at Madras in the month of December 1927. So in Madras session, under the guidance of M.A. Ansari, the same Congress Party adopted anti-Simon resolution or Simon Go Back movement. Simon Go Back movement nu cheyali ani ekkada veelu తీర్మానించారు, ekkada decision తీసుకున్నారు అన్నప్పుడు డిసెంబర్ మద్రాస్ సెషన్ 1927 December Madras session under the guidance of M.A. Ansari. So in the month of February 1928, Simon Commission landed on Indian soil. What is the response of Congress Party? Congress Party organized movement, started giving slogans, that is Simon Go Back, showing placards and all. It went on. What is the response of Simon? Did Simon go back? No. He went back. The gentleman successfully studied the stuff. Though Congress Party, the largest political party in British India, opposed Simon Commission, organized XYZ protest, but there were so many what we call say narrow-minded political parties extended their support to Simon Commission. Obviously, one among them was Muslim League Party, one among them was Justice Party, one among them was Dalit organization headed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Punjab Unionist, whatever the political parties you talk about, except Congress Party, remaining political parties extended the support. Obviously, with the support of these political parties of British India, the same Simon Commission successfully studied the stuff and submitted a report to British government. Mali report nu discuss cheyadaniki, debate cheyadaniki, the same British government constituted round table conference. 1929, 1930, 1931. 3 round table conferences. 1931 January, 1932. So 3 round table conferences. So round table conferences of 3 round table conferences. Out of 3 round table conferences, first round table conference, in fact all round table conferences held at London. First round table conference, second round table conference and third round table conference. First round table conference where we found delegates from British India, Artham Cheskoli, and even delegates from princely states. From British India, XYZ political parties except Congress Party. That's it. For about 89 delegates from British India and princely states participated. So the head of round table conferences happened to be Sir Ramsay MacDonald. He happened to be the Prime Minister of England at this point of time. The same gentleman was serving as a president of roundtable conferences. An inaugural session was made by King George V, the gentleman who came to British India somewhere 1911. Inga boleda sir ante ledhu boleda. The Prime Minister of England come President of roundtable conferences Ramsay MacDonald questioned, why didn't Congress Party like షాపింగ్కి వెళ్ళారు సార్, పండగ వచ్చిందని షాపింగ్కి వెళ్ళారు సార్ అని, షాపింగ్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత వాళ్ళని కూడా రమ్మని చెప్పారు. కట్ చేస్తే ఫస్ట్ రౌండ్ టేబుల్ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ సక్సెస్ఫుల్లీ గాట్ ఫెయిల్. ఇన్ఫ్యాక్ట్ ఆయన ఒక స్టేట్మెంట్ అంటాడు ఇక్కడ, వి వర్ డిస్కసింగ్ రామ్ లీలా వితౌట్ ది ప్రెజెన్స్ ఆఫ్ రామ అని చెప్తాడు. ద సేమ్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఆర్ ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ ఆఫ్ ఇంగ్లాండ్, సో ది జెంటిల్మెన్ ఇన్స్ట్రక్టెడ్ Lord Irwin, by hook or by crook, you send Congress Party to London. నువ్వు కాళ్ళు పట్టుకుంటావు, కాలర్ పట్టుకుంటావు, ఏం ఇష్టం, యు సెండ్ అంద హాఫ్ నేక్డ్ పకీరులు పంపించండి. ఫోన్ పెట్టేశారు నా పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ చూడమని. సేమ్ లార్డ్ ఇర్విన్ అప్రోచ్డ్ కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ. ఇక్కడ 1927, 1928 ఈ ప్రాంతంలో కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ మెట్ అట్ లాహోర్ సెషన్ మనం ఇందాక రెఫర్ చేశాం. In the month of December 1929, Congress Party met at Lahore under the guidance of Jawaharlal Nehru. Adopted XYZ resolutions. One of the resolutions: we shall not attend fast RTC. At the same time, we shall organize one more mass movement, that is civil disobedience movement. The same Congress Party adopted Sampurna Swaraj resolution or Swaraj resolution, right? Now come to Malenti difference. Can anyone, what is the difference between Swaraj resolution and Sampurna Swaraj resolution? Swaraj and Sampurna Swaraj or Purna Swaraj. మనం ఇందాక రెఫర్ చేశాం. ఇన్ ద మంత్ ఆఫ్ డిసెంబర్ 1906 కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ మెట్ అట్ కల్కత్తా అండర్ ది గైడెన్స్ ఆఫ్ దాదా. కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ took a resolution called Swaraj. The same Congress party met at Lahore under the guidance of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So took the resolution called Purna Swaraj. Now, what does it mean by Swaraj and Sampurna Swaraj? Why did same Congress party use the term called or add the term called Sampurna or Purna? Which one? Then how about Swaraj? Okay, fine. Or okay, fine. Or Swaraj and Sampurna Swaraj. ఎక్కడ? ఓకే, ఇండియన్. ఓకే, ఇండిపెండెన్స్ అండ్ కంప్లీట్ ఇండిపెండెన్స్ యూర్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్. గుడ్. ఇంకేమైనా ఉందా? ఇంకేమైనా ఉందా? మై శ్రీకాకుళం ఉద్యమాల పుల్టిగడ్డ. Swaraj and Sampurna Swaraj. Don't say there is no difference except Purna. Right? Chalo. So, Swaraj and Sampurna Swaraj. Swaraj, literal meaning, Sanskrit term, the English version, independence. Purna Swaraj or Sampurna Swaraj, literal meaning complete independence. But independence ki complete independence ki difference enti ante, we have learned in the year 1885 the same Congress party met at Bombay, took resolution called Dominion Status. The same Congress party, when Congress party headed by the so-called extremist leaders, that is extremist leaders mocked at Dominion Status, and they adopted a resolution called Swaraj. From 1906 onwards we are going to get Swaraj, that is independence. We are no longer to demand Dominion status. We shall be given Swaraj, independence. So 1906-1908 Congress party organized a movement called Vande Mataram movement, which we have learned. Now during Vande Mataram movement, what is the response of British government? British government suppressed the respective movement by arresting the leaders, and especially the gentleman Bal Gangadhar Tilak, he used to say a dialogue during Swadeshi movement. What is the dialogue? Swaraj my birthright. Swaraj is my birthright, and I shall have it. So, the same Bala Gangadhar Tilak was arrested and was sent to Mandalay jail. He was there in Mandalay jail for about 8 years, 1908 to 1916. In 1916, the gentleman got released. Now, when he got released, like ilanti youngsters, YouTubers everything, వాళ్ళు వెళ్ళారనమాట. సార్ ఇంతకుముందు సమ్వేర్ 8 years back used to say Swaraj is my birthday, I shall have it. ఇప్పుడేమన్నా చెప్తావా సార్ అని చెప్పి, లేదు సార్ సార్ చెప్పు సార్ అని చెప్పి రాసుకోండి అని చెప్పాడు. స్వరాజ్ విత్ ఇన్ బ్రిటిష్ రాజ్, సార్ 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 ఇంకోసారి చెప్తారని చెప్పి, స్వరాజ్ విత్ ఇన్ బ్రిటిష్ రాజ్. స్వరాజ్ విత్ ఇన్ బ్రిటిష్ రాజ్ 1916 స్టేట్మెంట్ రిలేటెడ్ టు, no, why did he say Swaraj within British Raj? సచ్చుని పెళ్ళికి వచ్చింది ఏదో ఇవ్వండి రా సామి. Now got clarity. Anyhow, we want get Swaraj. At least we are eligible for dominion status. When I say same Congress party, that is like, say extremist leaders, 1916, 1918 home rule movement, that is dominion status, not home rule movement का मतलब क्या होता है? Dominion status. What is response of British government? British government started mocking at Congress party. స్వరాజ్గా ఇస్తామని చెప్పారు వాడు. లేదు ఎంత ఈజీగా ఇస్తామని చెప్తున్నావు, స్వరాజ్గా ఇస్తామని చెప్పారు. వీళ్ళకు స్వరాజ్ ఊడిమ బంటు, స్వరాజ్ అంటే వాళ్ళందరూ డొమినియన్ స్టేటస్ అనుకుంటున్నారు. ఏం చేయాలి, ఏదో ఒకటి కొంచెం యాడ్ చేద్దామని చెప్పి. We are no longer for Swaraj. We are complete independent. తిలక్ చెప్పిన డైలాగ్కి వీళ్ళు కింద మీద పడి ఏం చేయాలి అర్థం కాక పూర్ణని యాడ్ చేసుకుని సంపూర్ణ ఆర్ కంప్లీట్, సంపూర్ణ లేదా పూర్ణ స్వరాజ్. From here onwards, when I say from here, 1929 onwards, we have only one goal, that is complete independence, not lot of his dominion status. No, we are now, no, complete independence. In 1906, we have to understand the leadership has got changed from early Congress leaders, otherwise called as moderates, to extremist leaders. Lal Balpal. Yes, Dadabhai Naoroji was the president of what we call say 1906 Calcutta session. Under his guidance, Swaraj resolution adopted. Yes, right. Ikkada we found enlightenment among the Congress leaders. Wala target endante, if you demand Swaraj, that is independence, at least you'll be going to get dominion status. We generally say, if you shoot at moon, at least you'll get star, right? Chalo. So it's a difference between Swaraj and Sampurna Swaraj. So Congress party did not attend first roundtable conference because the same Congress party was busy with civil disobedience movement, right? So the first phase of civil disobedience movement, 1930-31, first phase of civil disobedience movement. You can understand civil disobedience movement in two phases. 1930-31, first phase of civil disobedience movement, and there was a gap of 1 year in civil disobedience movement. Ee gap lo em jarigindannappudu the same Congress party attended second round table. Between 1930-31, civil disobedience movement reached to the heights because bulky sections of British Indian society participated. Already there was an what we call say awareness among the people, and besides, Congress party inserted program which were in favor of peasants. Congress party made it clear that don't pay taxes to the government. Obviously, peasants started participating in the movement. The same Congress party instructed women to attack on liquor shops. Amalakkalu also participated in civil disobedience movement. The only mass movement organized by Congress party, especially under the guidance of Gandhiji, where large scale women participation happened to be civil disobedience. ఎందుకంటే మద్యపాన నిషేధం అనే ఒక పదాన్ని ఈయన యూజ్ చేయడం జరిగింది. అమ్మలక్కలు ఉంటారు కదా, అమృతం తాగే వాళ్ళని వెళ్ళి కొట్టడం జరిగింది. ఇలా చేతులు ఎలా వచ్చాయో జనరల్ చెప్తుంటారు, రైట్? ఓకే, చలో. సో ఈ 1931లో మూవ్మెంట్ చాలా పీక్స్గా ఉన్నప్పుడు ద సో కాల్డ్ ఇర్విన్, that is the then Viceroy of British India, approached Congress party and we found an agreement between Gandhiji and Irwin. So danni antamante Gandhi-Irwin Pact. And one of the provisions of Gandhi-Irwin Pact, Congress party shall, what we call say, suspend the movement, and the same Congress party shall go to London. What for? To attend second RTC. What is the response of Congress party under the guidance of Gandhiji? So Gandhiji requested the people to halt the movement. నీతో ఇదే సార్ ప్రాబ్లం అని చెప్పారు. మూమెంట్ని ఎక్కడికో తీసుకెళ్తావు, ఏమన్నంటే నేను లండన్ పోయేస్తా అంటే నువ్వు లొట్ట పీస్ ముఖం అని చెప్పారు. ఇన్ఫాక్ట్ బ్రిటిష్ గవర్నమెంట్ వాజ్ వెరీ హ్యాపీ వెనెవర్ ఇట్ గెట్స్ టు నో దట్ ఈస్ మూమెంట్స్ ఆర్గనైజింగ్ బై గాంధీజీ. మనం సపరేట్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు, ఆయన సపరేట్ చేస్తాడు. నమ్మకం గాంధీ. చలో. So Congress party attended second RTC along with Sarojini Naidu. कौन थे second RTC में on the behalf of Congress party? Gandhi ji, Sarojini Naidu, Madan Mohan Malviya. The famous leaders from Congress party, they had been to second RTC. In second RTC successfully failed. వీళ్ళు చెప్పింది వాళ్ళకి అర్థం కాలేదు, వాళ్ళు చెప్పింది వీళ్ళకి అర్థం కాలేదు. కట్ చేస్తే the same Gandhiji boycotted second RTC. బాయ్కాట్ అంటే పార్టిసిపేట్ చేయలేదు, పార్టిసిపేట్ చేసి మధ్యలో అందరికి ఛాయ్ సమోసా ఇచ్చాడు, ఈయనకి ఇవ్వలేదన్నమాట. మెల్లగా వడాపావ్ भी नहीं दिए इनको, मिसाल पाव कैसा भी नहीं खाते नो, कुछ भी नहीं दिए, మెల్లగా బయటకు వచ్చేసాడు. In a nutshell, second round table conference also successfully failed. The only round table conference to which Congress party attended, right? So Gandhiji and his team returned to British India and revived civil disobedience movement. And what is the response of Congress? What is the response of British government? Very simple. The same British government adopted various repression measures to which movement got suppressed. The best example: arrest the leaders and send different parts of jail. And he himself was arrested and he was kept in Aga Khan jail, Erawada, Pune district of Maharashtra. The only gentleman who attended 3 RTCs by name Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, having understood the obedient nature of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and having understood, like some sort of scope for divide and rule policy, Dalits were given communal award, or Dalits were given separate electorates. How Muslims were given separate electorates in 1909. The same Dalits were given separate electorates in 1932. Having understood communal award, otherwise called as Ramsay MacDonald Award, Gandhiji, who was in Erawada jail, Pune, Maharashtra, he observed fast unto death against communal award. The entire information got known by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and his team rushed to Erawada jail. क्या बात, మొత్తం నీకు తెలుసు కదా, కథలు చెప్పమాకని చెప్పి. సరే ఇవన్నీ పక్కన పెట్టి ఫస్ట్ ఛాయ్ తీసుకొని చెప్పి, నో ఛాయ్, నిమ్మరసం తీసుకోవాలి, నిమ్మరసం, లెమన్ ఛాయ్ తీసుకెళ్ళి. ఇక్కడ గాంధీ అంబేద్కర్ ప్యాక్ట్, అదర్వైజ్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ పూనా ప్యాక్ట్. Pune Pact can also be called as Gandhi, what we call Ambedkar Pact, according to, otherwise called as September Pact. All are same. Pune Pact, September Pact, Gandhi Ambedkar Pact, right? When I say Dalits were given separate electorates, one of the provisions of Pune Pact of 1932, Dalits were abandoned separate electorates. In general electorates, in general electorates, Dalits were given reservations. General electorates or joint electorates, Dalits were given reservations. So let me tell you, even today we follow the same system. Whenever you heard of SC reserved constituency, giving reservations to SCs for a period of time, STs, right? Reservations in general electorates. And the same Gandhiji also constituted two organizations to uplift Dalits and established a newspaper, Harijan newspaper and all, right? So it's all about civil disobedience movement followed by few what we call say events which are associated with civil disobedience movement and all. Next, Quit India movement. Quit India movement of 1942 now. Quit India movement of 1942. In order to understand Home Rule movement, you shall have the background of First World War of 1914-1918. To understand Quit India movement, you shall have the background of Second World War of 1939-45. Second World War fought between two rival camps, Axis and Allied. Axis, Germany, Adolf Hitler; Italy, Benito Mussolini; and Japan, Hikako Hoshita, the military dictator in Japan at this point of time. Now come to Allied parts, we have France, followed by England, followed by USSR, a little later, AME or SAR is the United States of America. So, Second World War can be demarcated between 1939-41. There are so many battles fought between Axis powers and Allied powers. The war was in favor of Axis powers. Whatever the battles we found between Axis versus Allied between 1939 and 41, all battles were in favor of Axis. There was a huge pressure on England from Allied powers. Why don't you take the support of colonies? Because England had prosperous colonies. One of the prosperous colony happened to be India. Same cut, copy and paste of Montague's declaration. After war, you'll be going to get dominion status, the old wine in a new bottle, right? So in order to get the support of British India or Congress party, England sent a strategy that is a Sarpin Cripps. Yes, Sir Stafford Cripps. Sir Stafford Cripps, the gentleman happened to be, say, opposition leader in England at this point of time. He was sent to British India. నువ్వు ఏం చేస్తావు తెలుదు, ఇక్కడుండి డౌన్ అని చెప్పడం కాదు, అక్కడికి వెళ్ళి వాళ్ళ సపోర్ట్ తీసుకురావని చెప్పారు. ఆయన మెల్లగా ఇట్టి అనుకుంటూ వచ్చాడు. సేమ్ రైట్, ఆఫ్టర్ సెకండ్ వరల్డ్ వార్ విల్ బి గోయింగ్ టు గెట్ డొమినియన్ స్టేటస్. అందరు కూడా కింద పడి నవ్వడం స్టార్ట్ చేశారు. నేను జోక్తున్నానని చెప్పారు. లేదు సార్, ఇంకోసారి చెప్పు, ఆఫ్టర్ సెకండ్ వరల్డ్ వార్ విల్ బి గోయింగ్ టు గెట్ డొమినియన్ స్టేటస్. ఇంకొక ఆయన డబుల్ కింద పడి నవ్వడం స్టార్ట్ చేశారు. సార్, నీకన్నా సిగ్గుండాలి, మాకన్నా సిగ్గుండాలి. We demanded dominion status. When, sir? When we were in the little put, sir, chinna pillar. Now we started going to the ground and we started making 5 kilometers, but still you are singing the old outdated song. What is this, sir? Nonsense. In a nutshell, Cripps' proposals were outright rejected by Indian National Congress. And if someone asks a question, okay, Indian National Congress rejected Cripps' proposal, then how about Muslim League Party? Muslim League Party also rejected Cripps' proposal because Muslim League Party demanded separate state for Pakistan. 1942 Cripps mission. 1940 two nations theory. That's it. And what is the response of Congress Party? Congress Party determined to organize another mass movement because England was in war. So when you organize, when you make pressure on England, definitely we'll be going to get the stuff that is the Sampurna Swaraj. So against Cripps mission, ఇంకా చాలా factors ఉన్నాయి. Just go through. We found Congress Party organized quitting movement. It was in the month of August 1942. Congress Party, headed by Gandhiji, met in Bombay, adopted a resolution. The same Gandhiji gave a slogan called "Do or Die." Karo ya maro. చేయండి లేకుండా చచ్చిపోండి అని చెప్పారు. ఇది అభిమానం కొద్ది, రైట్? సో what is the response of British government? మనం ఇందాక నుంచి రెఫర్ చేస్తున్నాం. ద సిగ్నిఫికెన్స్ ఆఫ్ కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ వీళ్ళలో ఉన్న ఒక మంచి ఎలిమెంట్ ఏంటంటే, వీళ్ళు ఫస్టే డిక్లేర్ చేస్తారు అనమాట. వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు లాంచ్ ద మూమెంట్ ఆన్ సో అండ్ సో డేట్. రేపు మూమెంట్ లాంచ్ చేస్తామని చెప్తారు. ఈరోజు ఈవినింగ్ అందరిని తీసుకెళ్ళి జైల్లో కూర్చోబెడతారు. ఇట్స్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ది ఫెంటాస్టిక్ ఎలిమెంట్స్, సో అందరిని లైక్ very the same day, the leaders were sent to different jails. The movement became leaderless. 1942 Quit India movement became leaderless. The movement became directionless. Neither leaders nor direction. What is the response of the people, especially the youngsters ఎవరైతే ఉంటారో? వాళ్ళు ఎవరు సార్? మీరే. యంగ్స్టర్స్ ఎవరైతే ఉంటారో, ద స్టూడెంట్స్ ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో, లైక్ దే టూక్ మూమెంట్ ఇన్ టు దేర్ హ్యాండ్స్, ఎస్పెషలీ ద స్టూడెంట్స్ ఆఫ్ బెనారస్ హిందూ యూనివర్సిటీ అండ్ అదర్ యూనివర్సిటీస్, like say other university students joined the movement, and they resorted violence. It was on this occasion the students groups gave various slogans: thana jalado, police maro, rail maro, xyz. dorukna kottaru. Right? The only mass movement organized by Congress party where we found massive violence. That is the reason historians prefer to call Quit India movement as August Kranti. Kranti is a Hindi term. The English version, revolution. August Viplavam, August Kranti, because we found in Quit India movement massive violence. We have factual information for about 500 police stations were burnt, 250 railway stations were vandalized, and 500 post offices were ivanni kuda factual information. Under these circumstances, when leaders were arrested, were sent to jails, women Congress leaders they went to underground, and they promoted ahimsa through radio transmissions. One among them was Usha Mehta, Matangini Hazara. Chala mandi unnaru, at least half a dozen women Congress leaders untaru. Vallan gurtu pettukondi quite attention, because we found question. Whatever the circumstances, within 3 months of Quit India movement, August 1942, within 3 months, Quit India movement also got suppressed. So the 3 mass movements organized by Congress party under the guidance of Gandhiji brutally got suppressed. Now we have one more episode, that is Azad Hind Fauj, otherwise called as Indian National Army, or Subash Chandra Bose. When we understand the background of Azad Hind Fauj or Azad Hind Fauj or Indian National Army, during Second World War, మనం ఇందాక రెఫర్ చేశాం, during Second World War, one of the countries of Axis powers, that is Japan. Japan entered what we call Second World War with a slogan called Asia for Asians. Because Japan understood the strength of allied powers, especially England, France, lies in her colonies, especially of England. England had massive colonies in Asian continent. England యొక్క strength అంటే మాయలోడి ప్రాణం శిలకలో ఉన్నట్టు ఇంగ్లాండ్ వాళ్ళ ప్రాణం కాలనీస్లో ఉంది. ఆ కాలనీస్ అన్ని ఎక్కడున్నాయి? ఏషియన్ కాంటినెంట్లో ఉన్నాయి. సో ఏషియా ఫర్ ఏషియన్స్. వాట్ ఇస్ రెస్పాన్స్ ఆఫ్ జపాన్? జపాన్ స్టార్టెడ్ ఆక్యుపైయింగ్ ద కాలనీస్ ఆఫ్ ఇంగ్లాండ్. Out of 12 colonies of England which are in Asia, Japan occupied for about 8 colonies. The next target happened to be India. The entire information got to know by England. England instructed British India teach a lesson to Japan. Thereby, the British Indian Army was sent to, British Indian Army was deployed at a place called Singapore, Southeast Asian region, so that you can easily attack on Japan. Before getting attacked by British Indian Army, Japan captured for about 40,000 British Indian soldiers. All these captive soldiers stationed at Singapore, and their leader was Captain Mohan Singh. The entire information got to know by one of the revolutionaries from Bengal by name Ras Bihari Bose. The famous revolutionary from Anushilan Samiti. The gentleman ran away from India, got settled in Japan, got married Japanese woman, and he was like, say, making efforts to get back Indian freedom struggle. Right? So it was Ras Bihari Bose met Captain Mohan Singh, and say, all these leaders, they made a series of talks with Japanese authorities, that is, help us against England. So they started emphasizing over our enemy's enemy is our friend. Our enemy annappudu, at the top we have England, and we have, that is Axis powers, and ikkada India. So Axis powers enemy happened to be England. England also, India also had enemy relations with England. Now, so our enemy's enemy is our friend. మన శత్రు యొక్క శత్రు మనకు మిత్రుడు అంటే మన ఈ కాన్సెప్ట్లో భాగంగా దే సాట్ ద హెల్ప్. What is the response of Japan? Japan, give us some time, because whatever the decision we have to take, that should be intimated to our group, because we have a group, that is Axis group. And later on, the same Subash Chandra Bose received the support from Japan, and he became the head of 40,000 captive soldiers. The same Subash Chandra Bose, what we call say, gave a slogan, that is, give me your blood and I will give you యాపిల్ పండు. అంటే ఇట్లాంటి కాదు, గివ్ మీ యువర్ బ్లడ్ ఐ గివ్ యూ ఇండిపెండెన్స్ అని దాదాపు ఒక 10,000 మంది తీసుకొచ్చాడు. హైదరాబాద్ నుంచి కూడా దాదాపు ఒక 5 మంది వెళ్ళారని చెప్తారు. అందులో నువ్వు ఉన్నావు సరే, నేను కాదు, జనరల్ చెప్తున్నాను. కొంతమంది నెల్లూరు నుంచి వెళ్ళారని చెప్తారు, కొంతమంది శ్రీకాకుళం నుంచి అటు నుంచి అట్టే సముద్రంలోకి వెళ్ళారని చెప్తారు. వాట్ ఎవర్, ఫర్ అబౌట్ 50,000 అంటాం. ఈ 50,000 సోల్జర్స్ను ఆయన రీనేమ్ చేస్తాడు. ఏంటి రీనేమ్ అన్నప్పుడు, ఆజాద్ హింద్ ఫౌజ్ ఆర్మీ, ఆజాద్ లిబరేషన్, ద ఆర్మీ విచ్ ఈస్ మెంట్ టు లిబరేట్ హిందుస్థాన్ త్రూ ఆర్మ్డ్ స్ట్రగుల్. సాయుధ పోరాటం ద్వారా భారతదేశానికి స్వాతంత్రం తీసుకురావాలి. ఐడియాలజికల్ డిఫరెన్సెస్, కాంగ్రెస్ పార్టీ మాస్ మూవ్మెంట్స్, అహింస. Then how about Azad Hind Fauj? Through Himsa. But whatever the efforts made by Azad Hind Fauj got failed, and finally, he had to leave the land in which he was born. And after, he left the land in which he born, we did not know the whereabouts of Subash Chandra Bose. So, ఎవరైతే ఈ ప్రాసెస్లో ఎవరైతే ద సోల్జర్స్ దొరికారో, ఈ సోల్జర్స్ను, ఆజాద్ హింద్ ఫౌజ్ సోల్జర్స్ ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో వాళ్ళని చాలా బ్రూటల్గా పనిష్ చేయడం జరిగింది అంట. In order to protect these soldiers, the soldiers were associated with Azad Hind Fauj, we found lawyers from Congress party and from Muslim League party. So they fought on the behalf of these soldiers, and many soldiers got acquitted. And one of the fantastic jobs done by both Congress party and Muslim League party, keeping their differences aside. Right? So freedom and partition. Well, freedom and partition annappudu 1944 to 1947, the duration of freedom and partition. Ikkada two divergent political parties unnai. One political party established in the year 1885, another political party established in 1906 and 7. One political party demanded Purna Swaraj, another political party demanded separate state. One political party demanded complete independence. Enti complete independence annappudu, so assume the circle is British India, right? So British India be given independence. You must be given independence. That is Purna Swaraj, complete independence. Then if someone asks a question, mali vallu separate state, adi internal problem, right? You give us independence, we'll solve our own problem. You just give us independence, you just leave. What is the response of Muslim League party? Oka kusoni chepparu, సార్ మీరు వెళ్తే వీళ్ళు మమ్మల్ని తుక్డా చేస్తారు సార్. నో, ఫస్ట్ యూ డిమార్కేట్ బ్రిటిష్ ఇండియా ఇన్ 2 half and then you leave that. ये लोग 1 inch भी नहीं देंगे, खुंदल के मारेंगे. नो, यू फर्स्ट डिमार्केट ब्रिटिश इंडियन. So one political party demanded complete independence, another political party started demanding separate state for Muslims. So దీన్ని మనం చాలా పాస్గా ఏమంటామంటే ఫ్రీడమ్ అండ్ పార్టీషన్. Second World War 1939-1945. By 1945 Second World War came to an end. You might be knowing that is Allied powers got victory against Axis powers. The significance of Second World War, though Allied powers got victory, whatever damage happened to Axis powers, the equal damage happened to Allied powers. Mal ilanti victories emantamante you might be studied fiery victory ante. The victory which gets both defeated and what we call say victorious group with massive death and destruction. The so-called mother countries, England ganivandi, France ganivandi, because these two countries had colonies, especially England. England was not in a position to stand on her own feet, forget about ruling the colonies which have got say hundreds and thousands of kilometers away from England. So England was badly in need of granting independence to these colonies. Across the globe, at least 15 to 18 colonies have got independence the same year 1945. After Second World War in England, we found change of power. During Second World War in England, we found the Prime Minister. What's the name of the gentleman Prime Minister of England during Second World War? Winston Churchill. The gentleman was badly beaten by the people, and in place of Winston Churchill, we found Clement Attlee, the Prime Minister. He had soft corner towards colonies. When I say soft corner towards colonies, thanks to the Second World War. Second World War forced Clement Attlee to maintain soft corner, a benevolent attitude towards colonies. In general, in particular, India. And meanwhile, the sources tell us he was one of the childhood friends of Jawaharlal Nehru, some sort of tuniga friends. Jawaharlal Nehru, in the payya, mottam, idi videshi payya anamata. Okay, samajhar ki shara kafi, right? Chalo. So whatever that we found, there were two divergent political parties. Ee political parties ni oka taatiki తీసుకురావడంలో కొంతమంది say they made efforts antam. One among them was Rajaji, Chakravartula Rajagopalachari antam, followed by Desai Liaquat Pact. Just go through Rajaji formulae. Say Desai Liaquat Pact, followed by Wavell Plan 1945, Rajaji Formulae 1944, Desai Liaquat Pact the same 1944, right? So Wavell Plan of 1945, Shimla meeting once again 1945, Cabinet Mission Plan 1946, Direct Action Day 1946, 16th December. And formation of interim cabinet, so 1946 2nd September, formation of interim cabinet. So Rajaji, whatever the formula or whatever the solution with which Rajaji had come, so neither Congress party listened nor Muslim League party. That's it. Now come to apply the same towards Desai Liaquat Pact. Now come to Wavell Plan. Wavell Plan, Lord Wavell, the then Viceroy of British India, the gentleman also had come with some provisions. ఈ provisions అన్నీ కూడా డిస్కస్ చేయడానికి Lord Wavell invited Congress leaders and Muslim League leaders to Shimla. So Shimla conference. What is the significance of Shimla? Summer capital of British India, right? So even the efforts made by Lord Wavell also met with disaster antam. And Cabinet Mission Plan 1946, Cabinet Mission Plan opposed, concept అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి. Cabinet Mission Plan opposed partition. When I say Cabinet Mission Plan opposed partition, obviously the same Cabinet Mission Plan what is in favor of Congress party. ఇక్కడ కాన్సెప్ట్ అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి. వడ్డించేవాడు మనవాడు ఉండాలి. నాకు రెఫర్ చేశాం, Clement Attlee was a good friend of Jawaharlal Nehru. At the same time, Clement Attlee had its own his calculations, as soon as he wanted to get rid of this lot of peace, how long? Because they were not in a position to gain nothing. ఎప్పుడు చూసినా వీళ్ళు డౌన్ ఇది డౌన్ అనమాట, నిద్రపోతుంటే డౌన్ అని చెప్తుంది. మళ్ళీ అలాగే లేదు, ఒక ఆర్గనైజ్డ్ వేలో పెట్టేసి వెళ్ళిపోదామని వీళ్ళ బాధ. Do watch a series called Freedom at, very beautiful series, right? Obviously not biased, neither propaganda, nothing. You have to watch such kind of series so that like no inka baga artham chesukochu, right? Chalo. So when cabinet mission plan has come with some provisions, what is the response of Muslim League Party? Muslim League Party was not happy with cabinet mission plan because Muslim League cabinet mission plan did not talk about partition. One of the provisions of cabinet mission plan, that is federation. One of the provisions of cabinet mission plan, that is we have coalition government, sankirnamu, coalition government. What is the response of Muslim League Party? Muslim League Party was not at all happy with say coalition government cabinet mission plan. They simply outright rejected the provisions of cabinet mission plan. Obviously ఈ సపరేషన్ డిప్రెషన్ చూయించాలి. మళ్ళీ ఏం చేశాడు? The so called Jinnah, the then president of Muslim League Party, he gave a call for direct action day. This particular event which took place on 16th August, I'm sorry, not December please, 16th August 1946. మళ్ళీ ఏంటి డైరెక్ట్ యాక్షన్ డే అన్నప్పుడు, that is attacking on Hindus, Hindu properties, Hindu houses, and what is the response of Hindus? Vice versa. In a nutshell, we found massive communal riots, communal violence, wherein many innocent people got killed, especially in northwestern India, right? What do we call today Pakistan? And eastern India, what do we call today? Bangladesh, and even West Bengal. Massive inhuman episodes we found in direct action day. What is the response of Gandhiji? Gandhiji observed fast unto death. He had been to a place called Noakhali, which comes in Calcutta, that is Bengal. Noakhali, of all areas, the most what we call say victim area of communal riots happened to be Noakhali. He had been to Noakhali. He observed fast unto death. Now come to Congress Party. Congress Party under the guidance of Vallabhbhai Patel, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, determined to establish a government, that is coalition government. ఈ coalition government 1946 2nd September ఏర్పాటు చేయడం జరిగింది. We found for about 15 ministries. Out of 15 ministries, 9 ministries for Indian National Congress, when it comes to 5 ministries for Muslim League Party. 14 ministries. At the beginning, the same Muslim League Party did not join the Congress, the coalition government, which was constituted by Jawaharlal Nehru. And Jawaharlal Nehru as a Prime Minister, inka XYZ ministries unnaru. Just go through. The same Congress, the same Muslim League Party did not join at the beginning. The same Muslim League Party joined later on, not to support coalition government, but to disrupt coalition government. అంటే డిస్టర్బ్ కోalition గవర్నమెంట్ అంటే మాట్లాడుతున్నప్పుడు మైక్ తీసి విరగొట్టడము, నీళ్ళు వాళ్ళ మీద పోయడం, ఇలాంటి చిలుపు కార్యక్రమం మొత్తం చేశారని. ఇక్కడ ఏంటి కాన్సెప్ట్ అన్నప్పుడు, బికాస్ దే ఆర్ నాట్ హ్యాపీ విత్ cabinet mission plan, and they were not at all happy with the so called interim government. We want only one, that is separate state. So interim government లేదా ad hoc government ఏదైతుందో, it had been continued from 1946 September 2nd to 1947 14th August. Reason being, it was on 14th August 1947. It was on 14th August 1947, the so-called British India divided into two halves, that is Pakistan and India. 14th August 1947, Pakistan was given independence. 15th August 1947, India. So from 15th August 1947 to 25th January 1950, we have independent interim government. Now come to Mountbatten Plan. It was Mountbatten Plan which has come with a scheme called partition and freedom. So partition and freedom annappudu, Pakistan was given independence and India was given independence 14th August and 15th August antam. So దీన్నే అంటే మళ్ళీ ఈ డిమార్కేట్ చేయడానికి సో టు డ్రా ద బౌండరీ లైన్ బిట్వీన్ పాకిస్తాన్ అండ్ ఇండియా, ఈ లైన్ను డ్రా చేయడానికి వీళ్ళు ఒక కమిటీని ఏర్పాటు చేశారు. ఆ కమిటీకి హెడ్ వచ్చేసి సర్ సిరిల్ రాట్క్లిఫ్. ద జెంటిల్మెన్ నెవర్ నో ద కల్చర్ నార్ హీ న్యూ ద సో కాల్డ్ ట్రెడిషన్స్ ఆఫ్ ది లోకల్ పీపుల్. ఏదో హ్యాంగ్ ఓవర్లో వచ్చి గీసి వెళ్ళిపోయాడు అనమాట. దట్స్ ఇట్. Then after that, like at least 2 to 3 crores of people, they had to cross the borders. వాళ్ళ కాన్సెప్ట్ ఏంది, ఎంత తొందరగా అంత వెళ్ళిపోదు. So you may create the boundaries, but you can't create the boundaries between two cultures, that too existing thousands and thousands of years ago. Apply the same towards Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. ఇది ఈ మండలాలు ఈ స్టేట్, ఈ మండలాలు ఈ స్టేట్, లెటర్ పీస్ ఏం లేదు. త్రూఅవుట్ హిస్టరీ వి ఫౌండ్, ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ గివింగ్, we are acquainted with Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. The people who are Punjab, they are acquainted with the so-called boundaries, right? Fine. So these are the elements to be focused as far as national movement is concerned. So demarcation. It was Mountbatten, who had come with a scheme called partition or freedom and partition. With the provisions of freedom and partition, he met with Muslim League Party, and obviously there was no boundary for the joy of Muslim League Party. This is what we desired, so they accepted freedom and partition. The same provisions with which he approached Congress Party. Though accepted, especially Gandhiji and వాళ్ళకి సంబంధించిన వాళ్ళు టీమ్ ఎవరుతున్నారు, లైక్ మైండెడ్ పీపుల్ ఎవరుతున్నారు, they did not accept. And finally there was no option left with Congress Party except accepting the freedom and partition scheme. And it was Lord Mountbatten who was responsible for demarcation of British India into two halves. మనం ఇందాక రెఫర్ చేశాం. 14th August 1947 Pakistan, 15th August 1947 India was given independence. Now start with questions. With reference to 8th August 1942 in Indian history, which one of the following statements is correct? The Quit India resolution was adopted by AICC. The Viceroy Executive Council was expanded to include more Indians. The Congress ministries resigned in 7 provinces. 1937 lo jarigindi. Cripps proposed an Indian Union with full dominion status once the Second World War was over. What's the right answer? Quit India resolution was adopted by All India Congress Committee. Which among the following is associated with songs from prison? A translation of ancient Indian religious lyrics in English. What's the right answer? Which among the following is associated with the songs from prison? Chepnana koncha gattiga. Okay, it's in Naidu, Sarojini Naidu. Her original name was Sarojini Chattopadhyaya, right? Bengali. And her family got settled in Hyderabad state, and her papa happened to be Aghurna Chattopadhyaya. He happened to be the first principal of Nizam College in Hyderabad state. And she was extremely intellect, and she joined in Congress Party, and one of her colleagues in Congress Party by name Rasool Naidu got married. This is how Chattopadhyay became Naidu. In the context of colonial India, Shah Nawaz Khan, Prem Kumar Sehgal, Gurbaksh Singh Dhillon are remembered as leaders of Swadeshi and boycott movement, members of the interim government in 1946, members of the drafting committee of the Indian Constituent Assembly, and officers of INA, Azad Hind Force. Consider the following pairs. On one hand, movement, on the other hand, leaders. All India Untouchability League, Mahatma Gandhi. All India Kisan Sabha, Swami Sahajananda Saraswati. Self-Respect Movement, E.V. Ramaswamy Naikar, popularly called as Periyar, right? All India Kisan Sabha, Swami Sahajananda, All India Anti-Untouchability League, Mahatma Gandhi. What's the right answer? 1, 2, and 3. The Gandhi-Irwin Pact included which of the following? CSP 2018. Invitation to Congress to participate in the Roundtable Conference. Is it? Yes. Withdrawal of ordinances promulgated in connection with the civil disobedience movement. During civil disobedience movement, British government, issued so many ordinances. Yes. Acceptance of Gandhiji's suggestion for inquiry into police excessive involvement. See, whatever Gandhiji has demanded, Lord Irwin says, okay, ఇంకేమైనా డిమాండ్ చేస్తా చెప్పు, ఎందుకంటే అక్కడ పైనుంచి నాకు అక్షంతలు పడుతున్నాయి కాబట్టి. Yes. Release of only those prisoners. No, third statement, police excess, no. Release of only those prisoners who are not charged with violence. Because the gentleman did not include the names of Rajguru, Sukhdev and Bhagat Singh because they were associated with Mamuli Aparangadi. The ball was in Congress court. To be specific, Gandhiji, if he would have requested British government, what? To reduce their death sentence to life imprisonment. British would have done because the ball was in Congress party. He did not do that because of ideological difference. Even today, Congress party had to take this criticism, right? Not even today. जब तक कायनात रहेगा, Congress party रहेगा, लेना ही पड़ता है. चलो. So what's the right answer then? 1, 2, and 4 only. The Trade Disputes Act of 1929 provided for the participation of workers in the management of industries. Ammo, asal kaadu. Arbitrary powers to the management to quell industrial disputes can be considered. An intervention by the British court in the event of trade disputes and a system of tribunals and a ban on strikes. Against Trade Disputes Act of 1929 and Public Safety Act of 1929, the members of HSRA determined to throw smoked bombs in Central Legislative Assembly, otherwise called as British Indian Parliament. And having thrown the smoked bombs, their intention was never to bombard British Parliament or British Indian Parliament, just like not to create a kind of fear among the members of British Indian parliamentarians, because they were enacting anti-Indian acts, laws. After throwing smoked bombs, they have determined to surrender themselves to British. With reference to Indian freedom struggle, consider the following events. Mutiny in Royal Indian Navy, 1946. Quit India movement, 1942. Second Roundtable Conference. What's the right answer? 3, 2, 1. The object of the Butler Committee of 1921 was to define the jurisdiction of the central and provincial governments, define the powers of the Secretary of the State for India, impose censorship on national press, improve the relationship between the government of India and the Indian states. What's the right answer? What's the right answer? Yes, Butler Committee was constituted. Yes. With reference to the cabinet mission, which of the following statements is oblique are correct? It recommended government of federal government cabinet mission plan, federal government and coalition, Sankirnamu, right? It enlarged the powers of the Indian courts, nothing. It provided for more Indian rule. What is the right answer? Only one. Right? With reference to Congress Socialist Party, CSP, consider the following statements. First statement, it advocated the boycott of British goods and evasion of taxes. It wanted to establish the dictatorship of proletariat. वो तो pure communist doctrine है, proletariat dictatorship, कार्मिक वर्ग नियंत्रित्वम. It advocated separate electorate for minorities and oppressed classes. It advocated separate electorate for minorities and oppressed classes. With reference to Rowlatt Satyagraha, which of the following statements is oblique are correct? The Rowlatt Act was based on the recommendations of the Sedition Committee. Yes, otherwise called as Sidney Rowlatt. Second statement, in Rowlatt Satyagraha, Gandhiji tried to utilize the Home Rule League. In Rowlatt Satyagraha, Gandhiji tried to utilize the Home Rule League. There is a possibility. Home Rule Movement of 1916-1918. Now Rowlatt Satyagraha 1919. Right? He determined to expand Rowlatt protests by using Home Rule Leagues. You have two Home Rule Leagues, Tilak Home Rule League and Mrs. Annie Besant's Home Rule League. Great. Demonstrations against the arrival of Simon Commission coincided with Rowlatt Satyagraha. Pakkakelli adukomani cheppali. Simon Commission 1927-28, Rowlatt Satyagraha 1919. What is the right answer then? 1 and 2 only. Who of the following organized a march on the Tanjore coast to break the salt law in April 1930? Rajaji. Consider the following statements. The first woman president of the Indian National Congress was Naidu. Why first statement is incorrect? Mrs. Annie Besant. The first Muslim president of the Indian National Congress was Badruddin Tabji. Yes. The Ratcliffe Committee was appointed, Sir Cyril Ratcliffe Committee was appointed to solve the problem of minorities in India, to give effect to the Independence Bill, to delimit the boundaries between India and Pakistan, to inquire into the riots in East Bengal. The 1929 session of Indian National Congress is of significance in the history of the freedom movement because 1929 Lahore session. Attainment of self-government was declared as the objective of the Congress. Attainment of Purna Swaraj was adopted as a goal of the Congress. Non-cooperation movement was launched. Decision to participate in the roundtable conferences in London was taken. Not taken, right? So attainment of Purna Swaraj was adopted as a goal of the Congress. Attainment of self-government was declared as objective of the Congress party. Purna Swaraj. The people of India agitated against the arrival of Simon Commission because Indians never wanted the review of the working committee of the 1919. Incorrect. Simon Commission recommended the abolition of diarchy in the provinces. There was no Indian member in the Simon Commission. The Simon Commission suggested the partition. Britannia movement was launched in response to Cripps proposal. Mahatma Gandhi undertook fast on to death in 1932. Mainly, Roundtable Conference failed to satisfy Indian political aspirations. Is it correct? Roundtable Conference failed to satisfy Indian political aspirations. Incorrect. Congress and Muslim League had differences of opinions. Ramsay MacDonald announced the communal award. The Lahore session of the Indian National Congress is very important in history because మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేసినట్లయితే లాహోర్ సెషన్ మీ నుంచి దాదాపు ఒక హాఫ్ డజన్ క్వశ్చన్స్ పడ్డాయి రైట్ ఒకటి రెండు సార్లు అక్కడ రెజల్యూషన్స్ చదవండి ద కాంగ్రెస్ పాస్ రెజల్యూషన్ డిమాండింగ్ కంప్లీట్ ఇండిపెండెన్స్ ఈజ్ ఇట్ కరెక్ట్ ద rift between the extremists and moderates was resolved in that session. A resolution was passed rejecting the two-nation theory in that session. Two-nation theory adopted by Muslim League Party in 1914. We are talking about 1929. What's the right answer then? Only one. Which one of the following observations is not true about the Quit India movement? It was a non-violent movement. It was led by Mahatma Gandhi. The question is on. Not true. It was led by Mahatma Gandhi. True. It was spontaneous movement. Once again true. It did not attract the labor class in general. It was a non-violent movement. It did not attract labor class in general. Now it got attracted. No. Non-violence. Congress party never believed in violence. I would say up to 1947. I'm not talking about Operation Blue Star and all, that is another story. Then you can counter me. As you said, 500 police stations, 250. What is this? Quit India movement, at the beginning, it was a non-violence. See, your target was non-violence. In the process, you may resort violence, but it will be called as non-violence. Even you can counter me. Then how about non-cooperation movement? Even in non-cooperation movement, we found violence. Can we call it as a violence movement? No. Non-violent movement. Even apply the same towards Telangana movement. Telangana movement belonged to non-violence movement or violence movement? Non-violence movement. Chala violence episodes jarigaya? Yes. No. First, Quit India movement, it's a non-violence movement. Did Congress party give the slogan of violence? See, during, you're supposed not to talk about during. Right? See, what's your motto? Non-violence. In the process of organizing a movement, you come across sporadic violent events. Non-violent movement. ఇక్కడే మనకు కొంచెం కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయ్యి మొత్తం అవుతుంది అనమాట. మనమేమి ఇక్కడ పెట్టి బయటకు వచ్చి పేపర్ చాలా ఈజీ పోయింది, మనకు తెలియదు ఉన్నది పోయింది ఉంచుకునేది పోయిందని. ఏంది సార్ అది? నెగిటివ్ మార్కింగ్. చలో, సో ఇట్ డిడ్ నాట్ అట్రాక్ట్ ద లేబర్ క్లాస్, ఇట్ అట్రాక్టెడ్ the labor class in general. The labor workers, like from Ahmedabad, Surat, Bombay, whatnot, like they simply abandoned their activities and they participated in programs. Mahatma Gandhi said that some of his deepest convictions were reflected in a book titled Unto This Last, and the book transformed his life. What was the message from the book that transformed Mahatma Gandhi? Option A, uplifting the oppressed and poor is a moral responsibility of an educated man. The good of individual is contained in the good of all. The life of celibacy and spiritual pursuit are essential for a noble life. And all these statements A, B, C are correct in this context. What would be the right answer? General ga. The good of individual is contained in the good of all. Andaru baagundali, andulo manam undali. Though it was written in auto background and general ga, right? The good of individual is contained in the good of all. With reference to Indian freedom struggle, Usha Mehta is well known for running the secret Congress radio in the wake of Quit India movement, participating in the second roundtable conference, leading contingent of Indian National Army, assisting the formation of Indian government under Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. What is the right answer? Quit India movement, running the secret Congress radio. Usha Mehta, Matangini Hazare, ఇంకా చాలా మంది ఉన్నారు. With reference to the period of Indian freedom struggle, which of the following were recommended by the Nehru report? Complete independence for India, anta bommaledru. They were using the term called dominion status, right? Joint electorates for reservation of seats for minorities. Yes. Provision of fundamental rights for the people of India in the constitution. Once again, yes. What's the right answer? 2 and 3. First statement is incorrect. Right. It's all about. Any queries regarding? If not, we'll wind up the session. Just go through current affairs. Elago meer current affairs avutaru. Current affairs lo bhanga. You just identify history related current affairs. For example, focus must be on Brahmi script, right? Focus must be అంటే మనకు రీసెంట్గా దాదాపు ఒక 8 months నుంచి హిస్టారికల్గా హిస్టరీ రిలేటెడ్ ఏమైనా కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్లో ఉన్నాయా వాటిని హైలైట్ చేసుకో. వన్ ఆఫ్ ది ఫేమస్ ఎపిసోడ్స్ దట్ ఈస్ వందే మాతరం సాంగ్. ఇంకా మనకు గవర్నమెంట్ ఏమైనా టెంపుల్స్ మీద ఏమైనా ఫేమస్ చేసిందా, ఏమన్నా ఏమైనా మనకు యునెస్కో రికగ్నిషన్ ఏమైనా సైట్స్ ఉన్నాయా, వీటి మీద ఫోకస్ చేయండి. సో ఆ కరెంట్ ఈవెంట్స్లో ఉన్నది తీసుకొని స్టాటిక్ మీద అప్లై చేయండి, ఇట్ బికమ్స్ అన్ ఆన్సర్. దీన్ని ఏమంటామంటే హిస్టరీ విత్ కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ అంటాం. రైట్, స్టార్ట్ వర్కింగ్ ఆన్ దీస్ లైన్స్. చలో, సో డూ వెల్, డోంట్ గెట్ what we call tensed. Whatever you have read so far, you just revise the stuff. Don't read the new one. బామర్ది చెప్పాడు ఇది చదువు, చెల్లె చెప్పింది ఇది చదువు, అక్క చెప్పింది ఇంకొక, ఇవన్నీ వద్దన్నమాట. ఇప్పటివరకు ఏదైతే చదివారో జస్ట్ రివైజ్ ఆల్ ద స్టఫ్. రైట్, చలో. సో విత్ దిస్ విల్ ఎండ్ అప్ ద సెషన్. థ్యాంక్ యూ ఫర్ యువర్ కార్పొరేషన్.